Syracuse is going to Philly to take on Drexel, which will actually, I believe, be a neutral site game since the arena that they are playing in is actually the Philadelphia 76ers arena. Neil, audience, this is also a slight step up for Syracuse, not just in terms of venue. You're not at home anymore. You're going to be in a neutral site, but also Drexel. I mean, they're not particularly, world beaters, but they're 250 in KenPom.
Right.
That's about 100 slots higher than what Syracuse has faced so far with Binghamton and Delaware State. But I still look at this matchup and I see a Drexel team, very guard-laden roster. I think that helps Syracuse because this is a team with not a lot of size. They turn the ball over a ton through 3 games. So with that being said, Neil, I mean, what are your expectations for this game?
My expectations are, and I'm pretty sure it is a neutral site game, even though Drexel is located in Philly. Great city, by the way. I don't think Syracuse is going to have much of a hard time with Drexel. And the reason I say that is because this team, even though Drexel's, higher in the KenPom and all that, Syracuse, through its first 2 games, unlike its first couple games last year, has blown out these mid-level teams that they should be blowing out. And so that gives me more reason for optimism that they'll blow out Drexel and, frankly, Monmouth before they go to Vegas. Drexel is, I think, 1-2, but their 2 losses were to Colgate and I think St. Joe's, which comes to the Dome next month. A lot of guards. They don't shoot particularly well from the field, 43%, but they shoot okay from deep, 34%. Both teams are terrible from the free throw line. And like you said, the Dragons, they commit over 13 turnovers a game. So interesting enough, I think Drexel actually averages about 3 more rebounds per game. Now, part of that could be because they miss so many shots that there's just more of opportunities to. I was looking on their roster when you were talking about, their size and stuff. They actually have a couple 7-footers, but I'm not sure that they play a whole ton. I think Syracuse is going to. The key here is, limit your own turnovers. Syracuse had 5 in their first game, 14 in their second. So you want to limit your turnovers. I think they can feast off Drexel in terms of turning the Dragons over, getting out in transition with fast break points off turnovers and all that. Make some free throws. That'd be nice. Just continue to play lockdown defense. We'll see how they shoot from deep. And I don't, I'm not being laissez-faire like blah about it. I just feel like if Syracuse had won its first 2 games by a couple of points each, like they did last year against Lemoyne and Colgate, I'd feel more like concerned, so to speak. But, it is a neutral site game. Although Syracuse could probably will have more fans there because, Philly's I think a pretty decent sized alumni base, but it's also close to the DMV where I am, which is a huge alumni base. And it's also close to New York City and the New York area, which is a huge. So, travel well. And I think it's cool for Syracuse to play, neutral site games. It's better for their net ranking to play Drexel at neutral site or frankly on the road versus obviously at home. But I don't think they're going to have much of a problem. I'm not seeing any odds yet, but I would pick Syracuse to win by 20 plus.
I am with you. And I'm very curious to see how Syracuse deals with slightly raised expectations right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because now they've done it twice.
Right.
It's one thing when you go out in the season opener and you dominate Binghamton.
Right.
Like, great. That's what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
And then we both were on the podcast last week.
Yeah.
Wondering, all right, are they going to do it again against Delaware State?
Right.
Can they do it again? And they did it again.
Yeah.
And they had another great game. And it's not perfect. And there were different issues in that one. They turned the ball over a little bit too much against Delaware State. That's something that I would like to clean up. Free throws have been a common. They're just not making free throws. I've already accepted that. Like they're going to play Houston.
Why?
Neil, they're going to play Houston in Vegas. They're going to lose that game by 4 points.
And they're going to
because they missed 10 free throws. Like, can you already see it? Can you already see the headline? Like, it's already there.
It's like when Syracuse beat Kansas in the 0-3 title game, but Kansas shot like 40% from the free throw line. And they only ended up losing by 3 after they were getting blown out the whole game. Yeah, hey, listen, overall, though, if Syracuse plays well and only falls to the number 1 team in the country by 4 at a neutral site with or without JJ, I'll be bummed that they didn't win, but I'll still be encouraged. I would
it would have to depend on what actually happened in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
But if that scenario were to happen where they lose like very closely to Houston, after assuming you blow out Drexel and you blow out Monmouth,
Yeah.
I would say you might need to rank this team.
Maybe.
Like even after a loss. Like,
well, it depends.
I think
it depends on the next 2 games in Vegas because the next poll won't come out till the following Sunday. I guess they come out Sunday.
Yeah.
No, Monday. I don't know.
Monday.
I think Monday.
But
yeah.
What people need to understand is that sometimes losses can actually help you in these weird metrics worlds that we live in.
Sure.
It doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense. How can a loss actually help you? But when you're playing against one of the top teams in the country and you lose a competitive game, hard fought, wire to wire type game, and
that
you
catches
lose
people's
barely,
attention.
What?
It catches people's attention.
Yeah.
Look, it's better to win, but if you play well and they don't completely stink, but that they just are a little better and beat you by a couple of points, it catches your attention more than like Syracuse the last few years getting blown out by all the good teams. Not all the, but a lot of the good teams that played. Yes, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Yep. Yeah. And all of a sudden, everyone looks at Syracuse. Yeah, to your point, everyone looks at Syracuse at that point a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And they're like, this Syracuse team is blowing out all these cupcakes like they're supposed to. And then they play against really good competition. They didn't win, but they almost did. They lost by maybe a couple of points.
Yeah.
A bounce here, bounce there. It could have gone differently.
Absolutely.
You could skyrocket in all these rankings. You can go from in the 50s to all of a sudden in the 30s because you do something like that and you lost the game. Yeah. Like you can do that. That is a realistic possibility of something that could happen if Syracuse were to lose close to Houston.
And Houston, I don't know when the net rankings come out, but I assume in KenPom, Houston's really high up, and it is neutral site, so that helps. It'll be a quad 1 game regardless. So, yeah.
Houston is number 1 in KenPom.
They're number 1 right now? Okay. I figured they were in the top 3 or 4, yeah.
And Syracuse is 58.
Call me crazy, Jackson, and I certainly don't want to go off on tangents here. Like, assuming Syracuse, does what it's been doing the last 2 games, and we'll see about where JJ is. I'm not saying Syracuse is going to beat Houston, but I just, have a better feeling going into the game that they're going to be competitive. I don't know why, and, if you want to say I have orange-colored glasses on and all that nonsense, fine. I just feel like this team is not scared of other teams, and they know what's at stake this year, and it's a talented bunch that certainly has things to work on, but also has a lot of encouraging signs so far. Now, we could talk a week from now and see how Drexel went and Monmouth went and what JJ's up to and all that stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like they could go to Vegas and they could show the country that they're a tournament team. Even if they go 1-2, let's say they lose close to Kansas and Houston, and then the third team, as we were talking about offline before, it's a loaded field. It could be another really good team. Let's say they go 1-2, fine, but they lose their 2 games to ranked teams by a total of 8 points or 10 points. I don't feel like – I feel like in that scenario, I'd still rather win the games or go 2-1, but it would be encouraging for me.